Welcome back, everyone. It's been a great day so far at the conference, and we've got some more fantastic presentations coming up, like this one, Foothills Exploration, Inc. It trades on the OTC under the symbol FTXP and is an oil and gas exploration company focused on natural gas exploration and participating in the global energy transition. Please welcome its Executive Chairman, Kevin Sylla. Welcome, Kevin.
Hello, how are you today?
Fantastic. Happy to have you back on.
Thanks. We're excited as well.
All right, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us today for our session. Today we're going to just do a brief overview of our August corporate update and discuss today's news announcement that was released this morning. Before I begin, little forward-looking statements. As we all know, words as intend, continue, believe, and forward-looking statements would be made throughout this presentation and doesn't constitute a reason to believe it and things to move forward. What I'm going to do today is to provide a corporate update where our compliance lies as it stands today in relations to our filings and our ability to move towards our next chapter, which is trying to become OTC current on the QB and uplisted at tier, as well as discuss our corporate update where it'll outline some future endeavors and how the company will move forward. For those of you who are new to the story, Foothills trades on the OTC Foxtrot Tango X-Ray Papa, FTXP. We have about 5.9 billion shares outstanding and 10 million preferred shares outstanding as well. We have a two-pronged business strategy, which is trying to generate high-impact exploration projects for oil and natural gas, because we do believe as the energy transition begins to take form, oil and natural gas is still an intricate part of our future for the next 30 to 50 years, because they provide critical infrastructure services as well as goods and services that we need to move forward. Second proposition for the company is our new energy ventures, where we'll begin to participate in the energy transition, looking at hydrogen and geothermal projects that can lead the clean energy revolution and help society live a better life. Now let's take this opportunity to dig in the weeds. We're going to discuss our present announcement we made today and go over our compliance update. The company, for those of you who've been following, has been quite active. We're pleased to announce that we've met all the requirements to become Pink Sheets current at this time. As you know, the company over the last 60 to 90 days have been working diligently to meet these efforts. And without our third-party service providers, management team, and lawyers alike, we wouldn't have made this goal in such a timely fashion. We also want to thank our shareholders for being patient during this period of time. We're excited to move forward towards the next phase of the chapter of the company, which is trying to uplist to the OTC QB. So right now, we're moving forward and getting ready for the auditing process so we can get that done and try to move it forward by year's end, which is our internal goal. As we move forward to the corporate side of things, management is currently evaluating several small to mid-sized production companies in the U.S. Mid-Continent and Rocky Mountain regions. Our acquisition criteria so far has been looking for underdeveloped and conventional assets with long-lived reserves. We find when you find these assets that they have tremendous upside, whether that's potential behind pipe of existing wells or step-out drilling or just typically maintenance and routine that can increase production and add value to the mix. We're also looking at divestitures from large companies that currently looking to divest from oil assets due to social and ESG pressures, as well as HUD locations we're looking at. What I can tell the public right now during this process is what we have found. We've seen a lot of projects come through the door, but one of the issues has been we've been seeing people present Ferraris, but when we look under the hood, we're looking at a four-cylinder Pinto that doesn't have or doesn't apply. So we're looking a lot of pigs with lipstick on them. So it's our job to be patient, continue to look at transactions, and look for the right fit for the company so we can find the right acquisition that will not only add a production and revenue component to the company, but more importantly, give it upside through drilling and mixed planning. As we move forward, one of our most exciting parts of Foothills to date has been the energy transition arm that we've built into the company. That's led by Ms. Tara Roberts. The New Energy Ventures subsidiary is currently developing a deep hydrogen observatory project. For those of you not familiar with the hydrogen market, it's estimated to be a $1 trillion market by 2030, and some estimates like Bank of America has estimated by 2030, the total hydrogen market may eclipse $11 trillion. Because we see there's opportunity in hydrogen, more importantly, we believe it is a natural fix with natural gas and can be interchangeable with natural gas, that we believe that we should focus on natural hydrogen moving to the future. One of the fields that has been emerging and has gotten a lot of attention from majors and drillers alike is natural hydrogen. It's an emerging field that may be able to deliver natural hydrogen at the cheapest available cost from any production unit out there today. Our natural hydrogen observatory project right now is being built to have artificial intelligence employ a satellite image and GIS program to find either natural hydrogen or helium in depositional environments globally. We believe this deep hydrogen project is a natural fit for this announcement and deal with Prospectrum Drone Inspection Services, which is the drone-based detection system that can help us identify natural hydrogen, which comes seepages throughout the globe. And incidentally, what we've been finding through our research, natural hydrogen sometimes come with helium. Helium is also another scarce gas that has tremendous upside and potential if found. I will let you guys know more about that, and the company will update us more about that situation later in the upcoming weeks as we develop a full presentation behind our new energy ventures and our energy transition business thrust. As we move along the curve, one of the most exciting projects, and a project many of our shareholders and partners always ask us about, is our Wind River project. And that's the Beaver Creek East unit that we're trying to form. The Beaver Creek East is a 16,000-acre exploration development area in Fremont County. We're very excited about this project. We've hired GeoPinion Inc. out of Utah to help us support the geological information from our third-party engineering firm, but more importantly, to apply for a federal exploration unit in the upcoming months, and also so we can stake a well and begin drilling and to do frontier formation to aggressively develop through horizontal activity, just like the Powder River Basin. Why we're excited about the Wind River Basin play is not only it's a multi-stack play that our third-party engineering firm, Chapman in Canada, has predicted about 21 million barrels of prospective resources potentially in the field of 16,000 acres. But our first formation that we'd like to attack has analog fields that are close by. The Spearhead Ranch deal in Powder River Basin has produced 9 million barrels to date. And right next to us to the north in the Riverton Dome in the Wind River Basin, that frontier formation has produced 4 million barrels to date. We believe our exploration area has tremendous potential for the frontier. When we look at the analog wells and do our cross sections, we are excited about the prospects within that region, and we're going to look to explore it in the near future. If you look at our acreage, it's adjacent to the Beaver Creek field, which has produced 73 million barrels, and the Big Sandjaw field, which has produced 62 million barrels year to date. As I said before, our current engineering report says there's potentially 21 million barrels of prospective resources in our Wind River 16,000-acre play. It's a multi-stack play that has Phosphoria, Madison, and Sleep, and a multiple different formations for exploration that we're truly excited and we'd like to get busy exploring and exploiting in the near future. One of the things that we are excited about is that the companies, we like to say in sports terms, we're hitting our stride. Over the last 90 days, we've had a tremendous task of getting our financials in and beating the deadline of September 30th for 15 2C11 for OTC pink traded companies to become financially current, to provide clear and open disclosure to the public. And we took that seriously. We tackled it head on, and we were able to come out way ahead of the deadline. So that was a tremendous accomplishment for management. And now we're moving to phase two. On the operational side, just to summarize, we have our NEV, which is our new energy ventures. We're looking at hydrogen and geothermal projects. We've already have two initiatives, full thrust for natural hydrogen exploration, which could be over a $500 million to $1 billion industry once fully thought out. And it can also accelerate the hydrogen economies, not only here in the US, but globally. So that's an exciting position to be at in the forefront. When we look at our Wind River program, it's going just as planned. We plan on doing some geochemical and some further delineations, and we're happy that we're going to be able to look to stake a well into the ground and stake a couple of locations for our drilling program in the near future. So with that said, that is our announcement and our corporate overview. And now I'm going to open it up to question and answer to the public so we can answer the questions from the public about what they're most interested in Foothills Exploration.
Thank you, Kevin. All right. So how is the company currently capitalized?
From the company currently has approximately $1 million of cash in the bank, What the company did during the process, it took on some fixed, not variable, fixed convertible debt, as was reported, to take out the variable note. And when we did that, what we were able to do is we were able to fend off probably 15 billion shares of dilution. So we were able to minimize dilution by a considerable portion, bring cash onto the books, and move it forward. And we also have access to capital from non-variable lending facilities to grow the company for acquisitions and development.
Well, now that you've uplisted to the pinks and moving to the QB, are you planning on doing any sort of equity raise?
I think that's in our mind and that's in the future, but we're going to do that smartly. I think the equity raise, when thought about, is going to be in conjunction with some sort of acquisition or planned production type situation and to bring in revenue. So we're not going to do an equity raise for the sake of just raising capital. It'll be raised laser focused and pinpointed towards a transaction that can add value to our shareholders.
Can you discuss the milestones that are next for the company in addition to an audit and an uplist to the QB?
I think the biggest milestone for us next is the Wind River program. We want to get some wells staked and we want to begin the process of drilling. And so we want to stake the wells, get our permits in, then next step into that ladder is to begin drilling. So we've figured out the locations, need to stake them, and we want to start drilling. So that's the next major milestone. The second milestone is to get some legacy production into the portfolio. So that's some long-lived reserves, some continuing production that's stable, low decline, that can add not only to our reserve profile, but more importantly, add to our revenue profile.
So how close are you from becoming cash flow positive?
I think for our company, that is not our focus currently, and some people might scratch their heads. But traditionally, a company that's focused in exploration and development, the current focus is the high impact, high exploration project. So to give you an example, the Wind River Basin, we need to apply money into the ground in order to exploit or to receive or potentially benefit from the prospective 21 million barrels of prospective resources in the ground. So our attention right now is building the company's foundation. Number two, exploiting and discovering the resources. And it takes money to discover resources. So right now, that's not our attention. Our attention is obviously exploring something that the third-party engineering firm feels has over $300, $400 million of value. So we have to put our money in that so we can unlock shareholder value.
Kevin, when you say you're looking for divestitures, is this for acquisition? And if so, do you plan to make acquisitions with cash, stock, or both?
Great question. The divestitures we're looking at are from other large companies, whether they're looking to consolidate in certain regions, whether they're looking to divest their non-core. And what we're going to do is look to make those acquisitions with cash primarily, and at sometimes, depending on the seller's ability, maybe cash and they carry a note where cash flow from the acquisition finances the note that the seller carries. So we're going to look for a variety of mixes. The stock we're going to use judiciously. So the acquisitions we may not look to use with stock. We're going to be judicious. And like said before, we may do an equity financing, complement some of that acquisition activity. But we're definitely in the acquisition market for some cash flow and some reserves right now.
Any plans for a reverse split?
No.
So can your convertible debt, is it currently outstanding, and do you plan to issue more?
There will be no more variable convertible debt issued. I think that is the trick. And we are going to look to, by the end of the quarter, no longer issue convertible debt. But that's our goal. But like I said, I think the current situation is we're looking to no longer issue variable convertible debt. That has been a thorn in the side of many OTC companies because they could trade off a print. So we're very cognitive of that, and we won't issue variable convertible debt. But in certain instances, fixed convertible does make sense when it's above market, and when there's periods where you can buy it back with cash flow or have other mechanisms to buy it back. So we're looking at the financial sphere very clearly.
So how does Foothills plan on meeting the OTC share price requirement?
I think it's going to happen organically, right? I think as we continue to hit our benchmark, as we continue to roll out different and new business initiatives, and we begin to continue to hit our goals and benchmarks, I think organically, and I hope it should reach there. Obviously, we don't have a crystal ball and we don't control the markets, but I think investors will begin to realize that our company is a cut above the rest. I think when we look at the OTC markets, I'll go to bat for my management team. We have an excellent management team. We're battle tested, and more importantly, I think organically, as the market sees that we've shaken off a lot of the convertible debt, we're beginning to be prudent of how we use equity and how we can move the company along, that organically the stock price should move up. And obviously, there's no crystal ball, but that's what we're hoping for.
So will your Q2 2021 financials be submitted on time?
That's the goal. I don't think we'd be racing to do, if you guys look at the company, I think in the July, we filed about 3 to 4 quarterlies and reports. So we've been on a rapid pace. We've been on a tear. And like I mentioned earlier during the presentation, I think the company is hitting its stride, but the best days are yet to come. And that's just on the compliance side, we're hitting our stride. Operationally, there's some things that we're working on that we're truly excited about. We're looking to partner with different other entities, which is disclosed publicly. We're looking at acquisitions. So I think as you see the companies in this mode, and now that we've picked up the ball and started running, we're headed for the end zone and we're not coming back. And that's our feeling.
Well, speaking of partners, do you have any joint venture opportunities that you can use to leverage expenses and possibly speed up a production date?
That's an excellent question. And we're always in talks with different potential partners. The key is striking the right deal, right? You learn from past mistakes. And so the key for us is to strike the right deal, strike the right balance. So, of course, we do want to find joint venture partners, because it does de-risk us from an asset value, but it also does another thing. It obviously eliminates the upfront cash we have to put in, share the cost with other entities, and it makes our dollar goes longer. So it's absolutely something we're looking at. We can't definitively say that we will enter such a transaction with someone, but it's something that we look at and we look for on a daily basis.
So when is the Wind River project set to begin on-site work?
I think you're looking at on-site work this quarter. I think we'll continue to update that, and that's what the announcement today talked about, staking wells, and I think we're going to do some other things that involve it. So we're trying to move that at a brisk pace because we truly believe in the potential of that project. We're flanked to the left and right. If you look at our acreage position is surrounded by significant fields. We're excited about the prospects of it. And, it's just scratching the surface. It's a multi-stacked pay. And our evaluation of 21 million undiscovered prospective resources doesn't even account for the Cody Shale. The USGS back in 2018 did a study of the Cody Shale, and they believe that shale within the Wind River Basin, just not on our location alone, but within the Wind River Basin, they believe there's about 528 million barrels of undiscovered oil there itself. And when we look at our acreage, it's in part of that window for oil and gas. So I think this Wind River play has tremendous upside and has different formations and multi-stack pay to attack. So it's just not one zone or two formations. There's 6 or 7 targeted formations that we can produce oil and gas from. So when you have a multi-stack pay environment in a basin that has services and infrastructure, it's an exciting place to be. So we have to get it developed. So that's our goal.
And is your Wind River Basin asset, is it located on a native reservation?
No. It's BLM, federal land.
Talk about how you will be funding development in this land, and does the company have a JV partner lined up for the Wind River?
Once again, we're at not liberty to discuss any of those type of negotiations of what's going forward. But as stated previously, we are actively looking for joint ventures, partners. We're looking to develop that land through a mixture of non-dilutive financing, so that's project-based financing, along with some obviously equity financing when we get into it. So we'll be financing that with a combination mix so we can help shareholders and add value to the company.
Fantastic. Any closing remarks, Kevin?
No, I think that for the company, well, I guess one short remark. I think for us is just we're hitting our stride. We're moving the company along. And I just would tell shareholders to pay attention to what's going on in the hydrogen markets, pay attention to our updates, pay attention to what's going in oil and gas markets. And we should be providing some clearer narrative in the short future.
Well, fantastic. Thank you for these exciting updates, and we look forward to hearing more from you in the future. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
All right, everyone, we've got some more presentations coming. Remember, as we transition to the next presenter, you'll see a black screen, but stay with us. We're coming back.